Hello and welcome to today's video and song, which deal with what I call shadow hunting. The first shadows we fear are usually the ones in our very own bedroom as children. We realize that a familiar and cozy place can turn into a strange and somewhat threatening place at night. Years later, we usually know that our mind has created monsters, creatures of the dark which grow out of nothing, seemingly ready to attack and swallow us. Although they never existed, the monsters felt very real indeed. Not being able to see in the dark makes us humans feel helpless, and therefore we shy away from it. In a similar way, we shy away from the dark parts within us, those realms where fear and anger, which are the two dominant emotions we often try to avoid, rage in our very own hell. Looking at them makes us feel insecure and often powerless, especially if our mind has blown them up to creatures far bigger than ourselves. So a seemingly good idea is to bury them deep down in the hopes that they will then be quiet and that their forces will never be unleashed. Quite often, we get a lot of encouragement to do so early on. We get told, good girls and boys, don't shout out loud. They don't hit others. Or, don't be such a sissy. There's no reason to be afraid in the dark. So, we start to believe that there is something wrong with us when we explode in fury or when we don't dare to shut the light at night. And we look under the bed every evening to make sure that there is no monster there waiting. The truth is, there is nothing wrong with us at all. Both fear and anger are valuable emotions. Fear is there to ensure our survival, and therefore an emotion which is really precious. It is a good thing that fear will keep us from jumping off a rooftop or cliff without thinking. Fear is anchored in the oldest part of our brain, which will take over automatically once triggered by something we perceive to be dangerous. Sometimes, however, our mind has connected an event, which is not dangerous at all, with the feeling of fear, and this can massively affect our lives. Let's say we were involved in a car accident as a child while listening to a certain song. What can happen is that when we hear the same song again, we find ourselves reacting as though we were in a life-threatening situation and get into a panic for no apparent reason. Even seemingly smaller and non-life-threatening fears, like the fear of writing a math exam or the fear of dogs, can very much affect our lives in a negative way for years, because we avoid whatever we fear. And in doing so, we can make our world a much, much smaller place to live in. This behavior can also typically lead to what is called the fear of fear. So just knowing that we might get into a situation where we are afraid can evoke the typical companions of fear, such as an increased heartbeat, sweaty hands, heavy breathing, and more. Is there a way out of fear? The good news is yes. The less good one, that the only way out of fear is the way through it. One way of getting rid of fears, worth letting go of, is behavioral therapy, but there are many others. Therefore, it is important to take a good look at what exactly the issues are with an expert, and then decide on the goal and the route. So what about the other big and dark emotion? Anger. Anger has a function as well. It has the power to make us move when we are stuck in a situation which is not good for us. Of course, the explosions tend to happen at the most inappropriate of times, especially if we have swallowed our feelings for too long, believing that anger is a no-go. Then the eruption may be a huge one and take people who witness it completely by surprise. Whatever happened, they may ask. That is so unlike him. Which, of course, is true. But the thing is, if you let yourself be kicked around for too long, the anger on having done so is still there in the form of energy. And that energy will build up and turn against you at some point. Now, is there a way to avoid that? Again, yes. Anger management is something we may not have learned well enough in our childhood. But it is definitely something we can learn later on. Having said that, in my opinion, there is absolutely no need to deal with every piece of fear and every piece of anger in our lives. Only if they become a major obstacle for our current lives, which we want to get rid of for good, do I recommend dealing with them. At that point, it can make a lot of sense to go shadow hunting. Well, music can calm us down when we are in a panic. So finding out which type of music helps our strained nerves and puts our mind to rest is a good idea. For instance, it is said that the repetitive patterns of Bach music can have a very soothing effect. So you may want to give that a go. On the other hand, dancing wildly and shaking off strong emotions like anger can help us let off steam or even let go of things we want to put to the past. If you like, you can let me know what your favorite music is. And you can let me know what types of music you think help calm down or get rid of strong emotions. Today's song is called Shadow Hunting. It is about overcoming the shadows you have inside you when the time has come. The shadows may be your own, but that does not mean you have to face them on your own. Wishing you all the best in getting to grips with whatever shadows you may still have in your lives, and rest assured that there are people around to help you should you need them. So, all the best and bye for now.
I know we can learn how to fly. Today is a good day in every way. And together, yes, together. It's time to break down old walls and see how darkness fails and falls. Shadowland, hand in hand, 'cause you and me, we can be free. Let us cross Shadowland, hand in hand, 'cause you and me, we can be free. You're a part of me, you carry me further into the light. Together we'll find a future so bright. So let's be brave and take a jump into the deep. Let's take a big breath and make that leap. Together, together.